Hello my friends, welcome back. In this video we will see how I can create a single REPL in Replit and use it to do multiple Python programs. Now this is quite useful for students because our programs are generally simple, well contained, and I think we really do not need many REPLs to create them. So here I am, I've chosen to create a REPL in Python. Let me just call it, let's say multiple projects, and I just go and create this REPL like usual. Notice as always, some stuff runs and I get this nice interface where I get to create my program. I get to type inside this thing. The file is called main.py, and this is what we usually do. For example, I can just create a very simple program here. I can just say, well, print, let's say this is fun. Say fun, and usually what we do is that we take this button over here and we run the program. We see the output on the console. Now typically, when we want to create a new Python file, we just repeat the whole process once again, create a new REPL and so on, but really we do not need to do so. In fact, all I need to do is to just go and click on this plus button over here which says new file, and I can, let's say, call this file as, for example, test.py. Now this test.py is a separate Python file. Notice if I click on main.py, it's this, but there's also this test.py, which is just like your main.py. It's also going to be a Python file. So let me, let's say put another Python statement here. This is for testing. Yeah. Now the problem is, although this is a Python file, just like a main.py, I can write all my Python code over here. But if I were to run this file, it still goes and runs the main.py. So the question then is, how do I, let's say, get this guy to run, for example, test.py, because that could be a new project. Main.py, say, for example, project 1, test.py could be project 2, and so on. How do I get this to run? Well, there are two ways of doing it. First one, which it's good to know, but I don't particularly recommend it, is that you can go and edit your .replit file. Notice here, basically, it's telling that, look, I'm going to run this Python 3, which is the Python, let's say, interpreter we are running at main.py. So if I want, I can go and change this to test.py and it will run test.py. But I do not recommend this method. It works, you can try. It works. You can definitely try this. But the one that I would recommend is something different. What I would suggest is, well, move on to the shell. Notice there's console, there's shell. Now the shell is quite interesting. In fact, I can run my project right from here. So for example, let's say I want to run my main.py. I'm going to do Python 3. I'm going to use this -i. Notice the space over here and then a -i. -i makes it interactive, which is quite interesting. And I go and say, well, let's say main.py. Now when I do this, notice it runs main.py. I can exit this by doing Control and D, or I can also click exit. Let's say I want to run test.py. I can just go and say, well, Python 3 -i test.py, and this time notice it said this is for testing. That's because it ran test.py. Now how do I exit from here? Like I said, one is Control D. You can also do exit with, let's say, 2 brackets. It will exit out. You can in fact clear this whole thing to go up again on top. So this is quite flexible. You can run main.py, test.py. You can have more Python files here. So for example, project 1.py, project 2.py, project 3.py, and so on and so forth. That will do the job for you. So let's say I look at my main.py. Now say I create a few variables inside this. I say a is equal to 10, b is equal to, say, a plus 10. Now when I, let's say, run this from the run button, yes, indeed, on the console I see I see this is fun because that's the print statement, but I can't really access these variables. It kind of becomes a bit difficult to debug. However, when I run this in the interactive mode from the shell, for example, let's say Python 3 -i, let's say I ran, say, main.py. Notice it ran the code, it gave me the output. Additionally, I have these variables available. Now this can be very useful when you're trying to debug and so on. That's why this method is preferable. Use Python 3 -i main, or say whatever file name .py. Now some of you might be wondering, can I run turtle, let's say, in this mode? The answer is absolutely you can. In fact, being able to run turtle on the cloud remotely is one of the big strengths of Replit. Really useful. Notice what I've done here is I have created a new Python file, which is a turtle file. I create a new turtle and send it to, say, for example, 100. Now I am going to just run this like regular, from the shell. I just go and say Python 3 -i test turtle. When I run this, it looks like nothing happened, but worry not. There is a button here called output. You can go to tools and you notice that the turtle has indeed done its job. And this is actually really powerful. In case you don't see, output over here, just click on this plus button over in this, and you can go and search for, let's say, output. And basically this will, show you the output of the present REPL. So this is really, really useful. Like I said, this capability of being able to run turtle in the cloud is something that makes REPL very, very unique. And obviously with turtle, we can do some really, really interesting projects. Okay, turtle is okay, but what about tkinter? The answer is again yes. Notice I have created here a tkinter program. Let's call it tkinter, test tkinter. Just like earlier, I go and say, well, Python 3 -i test tkinter.py. When I run this, again, it looks like nothing has happened. Worry not, just go and look for here at the output tab, right? So if you go and look for your output tab, you'll notice that this canvas has been created for us just for fun. And obviously there's no other code right now, so there's nothing else, but you can create your widgets, place them here as we used to do. So the bottom line point is that with a single REPL, we can create multiple Python files, and we can make it, let's say, quite productive, quite powerful. And I think this is really, really, really powerful for students because the programs are relatively simple and self-contained. Now, one problem you might face is that, look, if you have lots of these Python files, it can get a little bit hard to remember what is where and so on. There are two things you can do. First thing, of course, name them properly. So you can name them as project 1, project 2, or so on. And or if you have some other naming convention, that's perfectly fine. But something that you understand. The other thing that you can do is that you can create so let's say you are doing, say, maybe multiple levels in your program. So I just go and say, well, level 1 projects, for example, are, let's say, in this, or it could be any other way of classifying this. I can, let's say, go and create a folder called level 1 projects. So notice now there's a folder. I can create a file inside this. Notice now this file is inside. Let's just say test, say, folder .py. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say, okay, let me just put some very simple Python code once again, testing this inside a folder, again just to illustrate that this is the program we are running. Now to run this, because notice now this is inside a folder. So now there's a little bit more challenge because that Python file is inside a folder which is called level 1 projects. How can I navigate all this? Well, very interesting, something quite useful for future usage. Let's say you can see what all is in here by using the, let's say, the ls command. It basically tells you, okay, look, I've got all these Python files. I've got another folder here. I can go and cd into that, which means I'm going to say you could change the directory to that cd. And all I need to do is to just put the first few characters and enter tab. You will notice it directly tells me cd level 1 projects. Now when I come in here, I do an ls and I notice that there is only one file called testfolder.py. Just didn't matter. I could have multiple Python files here like earlier. And I can just go and say, Python 3 -i, for example, testfolder.py. And in fact, notice it now says testing this inside a folder. So everything runs exactly the way it did, just that I'm running it from inside the folder. In fact, just for the sake of completion, let me show you that you don't really need to, come inside the folder. Notice I'm back to my, level 1 projects. I could have also done Python 3 -i, say level 1 projects / say test folder.py, and that will also do the job. The whole idea is that I just have to make sure that the Python 3 command knows which file I'm running. It could be this way, or it could change it to the directory and let's say, point to that particular file. And that's about all we need. Now, one of the very important strengths of Python comes from the fact that we are able to import other code. For example, just now we saw we imported turtle, we may import random, we may import a bunch of other modules, which makes this very, very powerful. Sometimes we want to import code that you yourself has written, and that can be done quite easily in this setup as well. For example, let's say I just go and create a new file and I just call it, let's say, myfunctions.py. So I am in myfunctions.py. Let's say I define a function here, say def add to numbers, say a, b, both of these expected to be integers. I say, well, return, for example, a plus b. Now this is just for illustration's sake. Let's say I want to use this function inside my main.py. Well, I can just go and tell this main.py, look, from, let's say, my functions, import, say, add two numbers. In fact, Replit, the prompt is, helping you there. You could have been a little bit simplistic and say, go and import everything, right? So go and import, for example, my functions. So you get the idea. Once I do this, I can in fact go and say C is equal to add two numbers, let's say A, B. Now, in general, if I did not have this command, and we can try that. If I, let's say, comment this out, I am going to get an error here because it would not know what is add two numbers. Let's just try this. So I go and say, well, Python 3 minus I, say main.py. Notice I get this, error that this function is not defined. Fair enough. However, I can go and tell the interpreter, look, interpreter, there's a function called, there's a file called my functions, Python file. From there, please import this, add two numbers. And when I do this, it's going to run perfectly fine. In fact, my C is 30 as expected. The big message that I'm trying to communicate is that as a student who's just about starting to learn programming, in fact, this is all we need. Our functions are relatively simple. Our code is self-contained. We can do it like the way I'm showing you by creating multiple Python files within the same REPL. We may be even able to reuse some of the code using the import command. Take care. Enjoy programming.